Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 5:30, and I will call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. If the clerk will just note on the record that all members of the council are present. The 3 council members and the mayor are in the council chambers, and we have 1 council member on the Zoom stage. We will begin our meetings with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still in COVID, and so we continue to look for creative solutions during this pandemic crisis. So tonight's meeting is being conducted both in person and online. Members of the public may attend in person if they wish. Otherwise, the public can also watch this meeting online at burnsvillemn.gov/meetings or Comcast Channel 16 or 859. The public can also participate through Zoom by joining us at zoom.us/join or by calling 651-372-8299. More information is available on our meetings webpage and in the council agenda packet. If Zoom meeting attendees experience issues, we ask you leave the meeting and log back in. This usually solves the problem. The next item on the agenda are all of our announcements. Our announcements have to do with all of our upcoming meetings. Regular council meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, April 6th at 5:30 p.m. and Tuesday, April 20th at 5:30 p.m. We have a work session that's scheduled for Tuesday, April 13th at 5:30 p.m. We have a special work session with ULI on Tuesday, March 30th at 5:30 p.m. There will also be a special work session for strength development on Thursday, April 15th at 5:30 p.m. in the Dakota B conference room. All council meetings are in the council chambers. And I'd like to remind everyone that the annual State of the City address will be held at the Ames Center tomorrow, Wednesday, March 17th at 4 p.m. To attend in person, you must pre-register at www.burnsvillemn.gov. Burnsville Community Television will also be covering the event live on BCTV, Channel 16 HD, Channel 859, and online at www.burnsville.tv/live. The next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. This is the opportunity for anyone in the audience or watching us to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that will be coming before us at a future date. Is there anyone who wishes to address the council? Ms. Lee, is anyone in queue?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. We then will move on. The next item on the agenda is additions to the final agenda, and this is for emergency items only. Ms. Mascoli, are there any emergency items to come before the body?
There are not, Madam Mayor.
Members of the council, any emergency items? Okay, there's none. We will move on. The next item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a group of items that's considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. However, an item can be removed from the consent agenda for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone in queue who wishes an item to be removed?
No, Madam Mayor.
City Manager Lee, does staff have any items to be pulled?
We do not, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And I believe we have Councilmember Keeley, you want an item to be pulled.
Yes, Madam Mayor, please. I'd like to pull item 4G, the ordinance on the tobacco products.
Okay. Any other items to be pulled? If not, may I have a motion for the balance, please?
Move to approve.
Councilmember Keeley makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Workman. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
say nay. And the motion carries. 4G is an ordinance amending the City Code Title III, Chapter 23, Tobacco and Tobacco Products, to be consistent with state statute for age requirement and best practices. Councilmember Keeley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's a line, there's a paragraph inserted in section 4, letter I, as in injunction, and I couldn't think of any other I example. Igloo, there we go.
Yeah.
It states that we, in this update, that we would want to require a minimum clerk age of 18 years old, which is neither in state statute or any other. I'm not sure where this came from. It's possible that it was a best practice type of item, but just for everyone's edification, it's if we were to move from 18, from the current law, which allows a 16 and 17-year-old, and move it up to 18, the negative impact on the job market is there's a lot of convenience stores where there's a lot of first-time jobs. These employees are generally supervised by older folks that work in that establishment as well, and it would preclude them, if they're under 18 years of old, to handle certain transactions that involve tobacco, which would be cumbersome for the business establishment, and it would, quite frankly, inhibit their potentially their desire to hire someone under 18. And we want to keep our job market free and open and make sure that these first-time job positions stay plentiful. So I would recommend that we adopt the ordinance with one exception, and that is that we remove section 4I and just strike that particular
Yep,
item itself, the whole paragraph, I'm not saying take out a word, I'm saying take that section out.
just that section.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to our attorney, and just so everybody understands how that got in, and striking it, and he can give us his legal thoughts. Mr. Jamnik.
Mayor and Council, the Councilmember Keeley is right. It is not required under federal or state statutes or laws. It is a best practice that's in the league memo, and I think that's why staff picked it up and inserted it in the draft. It is also a major advocacy point for the youth access to tobacco individuals. From a legal perspective, it's very difficult to administer or enforce because, as Councilmember Keeley observed, many times you do have younger people working as sales clerks. It would be easier to do it in an adult-only establishment, exclusive tobacco shop. But in service stations, grocery stores, and the rest, it is very difficult for us to enforce or administer that provision anyway, other than having the establishment not be able to hire anyone under that age. Or it makes it very difficult to administer where clerk could sell all sorts of products except the tobacco products in a particular line or checkout line. So that is difficult, but that's the origin of it and the advocacy groups of why it's in there. Certainly, if the council wants to take it out, it doesn't do much damage to the rest of the ordinance. The primary purpose of the ordinance was to conform our city code with the federal and state change to the 21 age tobacco use.
Okay, so Councilmember Keeley, you're making a motion to approve with striking that, with striking I.
4I, yeah, section 4I.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'm going to go to Councilmember Gustafson, who seconded, and will the clerk please take the roll on this one?
Councilmember Gustafson.
Aye.
Mayor Counts.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeley.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Yes.
Councilmember Workman.
Aye.
And the motion passes. Thank you, everyone. And now we will move on to our regular agenda. And on the regular agenda, we have three items. The first item on the regular agenda is to approve the 2021 Economic Development Commission Work Plan. And let's see, who is doing this? Is this
Mayor, by
Regina.
introducing our chair for the Economic Development Commission, Eric
He'll be speaking on behalf of the commission, but we also do have some other commission members that I'd like to recognize. Our Vice Chair, Crystal Fitchett, Al Anderson, and Laura Schmitz are all on our Zoom call today, or at the City Council meeting, should I say. With that, Mayor, I'd like to turn it over to Eric, and I'd be more than happy to stand to answer any questions as he goes through a look back at 2020 and a look into for 2021.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Regina. I think city staff will be pulling up the PowerPoint here. There it is. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Here to present the Economic Development Commission's 2021 work plan. But before we get to that, let's kind of look at some of the accomplishments we made over in 2020. So we move on to the next slide. We'll cover some accomplishments in 2020. We focus some of our efforts on the strategic plan, number 4, goals and actions. So this is more focused on the housing and building a housing program. In that effort, we did the city South Cross and Portland land sale recommendation, as well as the ELF grant recommendation for the housing development. I think both of those two projects ultimately didn't move forward, but it kind of shows a lot of interest that has been happening around Burnsville, especially in the time that we're in here with COVID and the pandemic. We provided recommendations on the Burnsville Cares Business Grant Program. And then before the pandemic happened in February, members of the commission and city staff went to the Economic Development Association of Minnesota conference, and in particular took a mobile tour of Edina, showcasing their economic development efforts, especially around the Southdale shopping center and the mall. So which was very influential to kind of what we've built in the Burnsville Center Village plan. We received updates on the Minnesota River Quadrant, reviewed legislative agendas and priorities. We had 2 commissioners participate in the sustainability stakeholder group to update the city's sustainability plan. And then we get updates every a meeting that we have from economic development strategic plan efforts at each meeting. So staff updates on the activities that occurred related to the strategic plan, and then just reviewed open to business actions and items there. So that's kind of the accomplishments that we had in 2020. So flipping over to our 2021 work plan, some of the proposed action items are city zoning and coding updates. So we'll participate in that as directed or as we see fit. Grow the Minnesota City and Chamber Partnership. So review that as those come up. And then the city business retention and expansion program, review that as well. And then participate in any center village meetings. We'll have some appointed EDC members to participate in any work groups. And that was just kind of a carryover from 2020. And then just kind of ongoing continued tasks. The ED strategic plan, just kind of continue to work on the 5 goals established under that plan. Ribbon cuttings, attend ribbon cuttings. They come up with businesses across the city. Training where they see fit that provides economic development, providing training that is suitable to the commission. Engage in any kind of comprehensive plan implementation devoted to economic development. Look at the legislative agendas updates, and then any land sales, TIFs, ELF grant, provide recommendations on a as needed basis and as presented to the EDC. So with that, the EDC recommends to the City Council to adopt the 2021 work plan. So I'll stand here for any questions from the council.
Thank you, Commissioner Newman. Members of the council, any questions about the work plan that is before us? It looks like they have a full plate. Councilmember Keeley.
I'm not the liaison, but I would just say that it is a full plate. It's an exciting time to be on the EDC with all of the cranes in the air and the building going on, so very exciting.
Yep.
Thank you. Good
Yeah,
plan.
and I am the liaison now to the EDC, to this commission, so, yeah, I'm looking forward to working with them as we move forward. So I look forward to meeting with Chair Newman in the coming month. So, any other comments? And thank you, you do have a full plate before you. If not, I'd like a motion to adopt the work plan before us.
I guess you can't make that motion, is that it?
Would you like for, I will be happy
I
to make
think you
that
should make
motion.
it as a liaison.
I move to adopt the 2021 work plan for the EDC.
Happy to second that.
Okay, and the motion is made and seconded, and the clerk could take the roll, please.
Councilmember Gustafson.
Aye.
Mayor Kauts.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeley.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Yes.
And Councilmember Workman.
Aye. The next item on our agenda is the Planning Commission's work plan, and presenting this evening is Chair Robert Timmerman of the Planning Commission. So welcome, Chair Timmerman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council members, Madam Mayor, like Chair Newman, we're going to tell you a little bit about what we did in 2020 and then jump into our work plan as well for 2021. The Planning Commission, as well as staff, are very proud of the work that we've done in the last year. And we're going to touch on a few of the things that we've reviewed, but this does not even get into the different projects and development projects that we've seen throughout the last year. So remember that those come for public hearing in front of the Planning Commission, and we see a couple of those each month, and it's been very, very nice to see that over the last 4 to 6 weeks, we're getting more projects coming to us, and you'll definitely end up seeing those as well for approval at the City Council level. In 2020, some of the accomplishments that we are proud of, first and foremost, and I don't know if my slides are up there. Okay, there we go. First and foremost, over the last several years, we've been looking at the solar ordinance in Burnsville, and we've made minor tweaks over the last 2 to 3 years. But what we decided this past year is that as it stands right now, there is no need for immediate changes. And so we will stop monitoring this on a yearly basis and look at it more as needed. Another item that we're proud to have accomplished is helping transition the part of the city designation in the zoning codes over to the transit-oriented district. This was a pretty large project, and a lot of people were involved with this, and I think this will help ultimately the area that was once known in zoning language as the heart of the city really help, I guess, expand in that transit area, getting the orange line built in that area. A couple other things that we looked at were parking ordinance updates. We reviewed parking ordinance provisions and helped guide changes that you ultimately approved in February of last year. We looked at building perimeter landscaping. There were some changes to this ordinance that were approved in November 2020. It provides greater choices and flexibility in materials for building perimeter landscaping. It also provides a reduction in the percentage requirement around commercial buildings. So this, as the council has guided for making the lives of business owners and residents a little bit easier, I think that this particular change really is going down that path. We also looked at the farmers market and temporary seasonal sales. We recommended changes to the ordinance to allow more flexibility on locations of these temporary farmers markets, and you approved this in June of 2020. Again, I think this makes the lives of our citizens easier. And more recently, we looked at building expression, and this was an item brought up by some folks who wanted to wrap a building or potentially incorporate their marketing materials in different manners, such as a mural, but really not consistent with our normal signage ordinance. And so this is something that we looked at and you approved in this, in the last couple months here in December of last year. We've done some education. Staff has done a very nice job of providing us with ongoing education regarding what the planning department does, also the structure and the efforts within other city departments to make the city planning and zoning run smoothly. Moving forward in 2021, we're going to be really carrying forward a few larger projects that are ongoing, and that is the 2040 Comprehensive Plan Update. This is really something that we look at fairly regularly as projects come up. We try to implement them within the 2040 Comp Plan. We'll also keep a close eye on the Center Village and the County Road 42 redevelopment vision. I think this is a project that is important to all of us and everyone in Burnsville. And so we're excited to play a part in that. And then also, and similarly, we have some zoning ordinance updates that need to be made related to the Lower Minnesota River Watershed District. There were some changes in that master plan that will require some ordinance changes. But what we're most excited about, what I think City Council is probably most excited about, is our great code update. It looks like we'll be taking on Titles 10 and 11 of the City Code and updating that to really streamline it, make it easier to use, to maneuver, and bring it into a little bit more plain language that folks in Burnsville can navigate a little bit easier. So we are very excited to take that on. We're looking forward to having some more direction on the scope and the timing of that. I understand that will be coming in the next couple weeks here. And really, I think that is going to take a lot of our time in the next year. So I think that having a little bit slimmer plan here on paper or on screen doesn't do it justice, because I think it will be a large undertaking looking at the city code for these two titles. We can go to the next slide, please. At our last meeting on March 8th, we approved a recommendation to the City Council, and staff also recommends approval of our 2021 work plan. And with that, before I take any questions, I do just want to recognize the staff members that have helped the Planning Commission so much over the last year. We've had some great help from Deb Garros and Sarah Madden, as well as Regina Dean, and I just want to acknowledge them. They definitely do the heavy lifting for the planning work in the city, and we are very, very blessed to have them. So thank you to Deb, Regina, and Sarah. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you,
Elizabeth, I
Chair.
have a question.
Councilmember Gustafson?
Yes. Commissioner Timmerman, we're going to be starting down this road for looking at all of our ordinances, and we're putting a commission together as well that's going to be taking care of a part of it. And the Planning Commission is doing Titles 10 and 11. And for the information for people that are watching us and people that maybe want to apply to be in this commission, can you explain what your part is, what 10 and 11 is, and what you'll be looking at?
Sure. So, and maybe Sarah can get into a little bit more detail here, but basically what the Planning Commission is tasked with looking at is the city's zoning. And if you think of all of the different areas in Burnsville as having a dedicated purpose or a dedicated use, and our comprehensive master plan really dictates what we're going to do for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And when you start looking at areas like the Minnesota River Quadrant, we really do need to think out many years in advance. And so we're going to be looking at any of the ordinances that are related to building, any of the ordinances that are related to zoning. We look at things, like I mentioned with some of our tasks last year, we look at things as simple as a sign ordinance or as complex as the entire redevelopment of the center village. I mean, we look at quite a bit. And Sarah, maybe you want to dive into a little bit more detail on the specific details of chapters 10 and 11.
Ms. Madden?
Yes, thank you. Just to give kind of a brief overview, in general, Title 10, the zoning ordinance, relates to private property and land in the city and the regulations and requirements that apply to those. Whereas Title 11, the subdivision ordinance, is related to the processes that a city can do to facilitate both the subdivision of land, the combining of land, and lot requirements, which also gets into the public realm of right-of-way and easements. So the goal, or what it seems to be the goal of this update, is to make sure that our ordinances are easy for staff to implement and understandable for the public who is looking for information that they need to follow or direct someone else to follow, so that we can all communicate and understand the same information, whether we're the city planner or whether we're a first-time home builder.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Schultz?
I am extremely excited about this project, and as your liaison, I'm looking forward to working with you on this. This is extremely exciting that we're going to be doing this, and I appreciate ahead of time the hard work that our planning commission is going to be putting into this, and then also our citizen commission that will be looking at the rest of our ordinances. So thank you very much. Extremely excited.
Okay. Councilmember Workman?
Thank you. I just want to thank our chair, Timmerman, and our entire planning commission. I think we've got a very strong bullpen over there. Those guys all do a very good job for us. And I think we've probably got a really good group of people working on this, and I'm excited to see what kind of feedback we get from that group. Keep it up.
Commissioner Chair Timmerman and all of the members of the Planning Commission. Yes, you're right. It may look just like 3 pieces on your work plan, but they're huge. When you're looking at the continuing the implementation of the 2040 comp plan, that's a huge undertaking. So people need to understand that's a big lift. The other big lift that you have here that people may not understand is the County Road 42 redevelopment. And that comes from County Road 5, if people don't understand the project areas from County Road 5 going east to 35W. So that's another big piece that we're working on now. We worked on the Center Village, and now you're expanding out to make sure that we look at that whole corridor, because that was the intent from the very beginning. But we needed to chunk it. And so we addressed the Center Village first, and now we have to do the rest of the corridor. So you've got a big lift. And so I'm really appreciative of our planning staff and economic development staff, because that's a huge piece of work. And I know that there are some things that need to happen on that site that Cub is on. And I know that the owners are interested in the redevelopment of that site. And that's a big site now. What they want to do with it, we don't know for sure. But they know that we're going to be working with it. And then, of course, when you're looking at the code upgrade, that is really looking at everything within the zoning, which also has to do with the Center Village, and which we already approved, but the corridor, and then everything else within the city of Burnsville. So you've got a heavy lift. It might only look like 3 or 4 items, but in all of that is a lot of work. And I know that you all will do a great job, and we have a great team inside City Hall who are going to do that. Now, if the clerk could please let people know when we will be interviewing for the task force that will work with our planning commission on the city code update. And I think we're getting to understand when those interviews will take place. They'll take place at the same time. We will be interviewing for commissions, candidates for our commissions. Ms. Collins?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we are currently starting the recruitment process. We're just getting those applications, testing the new applications out to make sure that they work. Typically, recruitment for regular commissions start April 1st, but because of the Code Review Task Force, we're looking to start that a little earlier this year to get that out there. Interviews, I think we are looking at May 25th and 26th. I don't have my calendar right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure those are the dates, the last Tuesday and Wednesday of that month after Memorial Day.
Okay, now everybody knows when we're going to be interviewing for this task force as well as for candidates for our commissions. So, are there any other comments? If not, I'd like an adoption of the work plan, the Planning Commission work plan.
I move to approve.
Councilmember Schultz makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Workman. The clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Gustafson.
Aye.
Mayor Couts.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeley.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Yes.
Councilmember Workman.
Aye.
Thank you, and it passes unanimously. Commissioner Chair Timmerman and Commissioner Chair Newman, please extend our appreciation and gratitude to the members of the commission, the EDC Commission and the Planning Commission, for all the work that you do to advise us. We are truly grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next item is to approve the update for Grow Minnesota agreement regarding the partnership with Burnsville Chamber of Commerce and appoint the council liaison. City Manager Mescoli.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. You have before you a revised agreement with the Chamber of Commerce that would expand our partnership. Right now, we've got a partnership to do Grow Minnesota retention visits. This expansion would also extend a partner status to the city of Burnsville for the duration of this contract. We are looking at this on an annual basis. This will give designated city representatives benefit opportunities, including receiving the chamber mailing list, member rates and registration for chamber events and programs, as well as the opportunity to have an ex officio committee member on their public policy committee. This does not confer membership status with the chamber. It is a special partnership program with the chamber. I would be happy to stand for any questions, but would ask that you approve the contract and then make a designation of a council liaison. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Keeley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the agreement, I'm assuming that third paragraph from the last, the city and chamber commit to negotiating an agreement for, it says 2021 on November 15th of 2021. I believe you're referring to 2022?
Yes, sir.
Is that a new? Okay.
Yes.
With that, I think it's, I'm delighted that we got to this point. I've always felt that the chamber and the city should have a closer, more official partnership. And short of the issues that we discovered in being a member, this is the next best thing, and it really sort of codifies into an agreement, a great relationship, a great partnership that we have with the chamber. And I would, I don't mean to be, too forward by saying I would nominate myself to be the liaison because I attend all the public policy meetings, and I have for many, many years. I certainly believe that we should have a alternate for when I'm not able to be there, that we always have a person present at the table. And I don't know who has shown interest in being an alternate, but I would be happy to continue my years-long service as a liaison, official or unofficial, with the Public Policy Committee.
Okay, so are you making a motion, Councilmember Keeley, to adopt the partnership and also assign you as our liaison?
Yes, with one caveat that we correct the agreement to reflect 2022.
Oh, yeah, the year, yeah, absolutely. Okay, So is that your motion?
Sure, should we include an alternate in this motion?
Yes, and I think in the last discussion at the all-day, I think Councilmember Gustafson said that he wanted to be that alternate because it's in the morning and sometimes Councilmember Workman has
I have to
a
drop
father
off
duty.
my kids in the mornings, which has prohibited me from joining as frequently as I would like to.
Okay, so the
I would-
motion.
Meetings to 6.
I
Okay.
would second that motion.
Okay, so so everybody who is listening in, understand, the motion is to approve the relationship with the chamber. And what people need to know is that we've always had a relationship with the chamber and have been working together as a leadership team in our community. This just formalizes the partnership and gives us things that we, and identifies the things that we do together, and then have a liaison at the table for their policy group. So the motion on the
Madam
table
Mayor?
is to approve, Councilmember
We move to
Gustafson?
approve, I'd like to say something.
Yes, I just want to.
First of all, thank you for nominating me as the alternate. I'd be happy to do that. I just want to say that I agree with Councilmember Keeley. We've come a long ways over the years, and I believe I've never seen the city, the chamber, and the school district, all of them, we work very closely together on all the leadership groups in this city, and it certainly shows that it's paying off, so I'll be proud to be the alternate. Although Dan never misses a meeting, but I'll be there. I'll be there once in a while anyways.
Two of us can be there at the same time, so join.
I know.
Yeah, you just can't have three of you.
No, we don't, we're well aware of that one.
Yeah, okay, yes. So, for our residents and businesses who are listening, so the motion includes, so the motion is to formalize a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce and assign the liaison to the Chamber of Commerce Policy Committee, and that is Councilmember Dan Keeley, and the alternate to be Councilmember Dan Gustafson. And that was seconded by Councilmember Schultz. And is there any more discussion or comments? The clerk take the roll, please.
Councilmember Gustafson.
Aye.
Mayor Couts.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeley.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Yes.
Councilmember Workman.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. And members of the council, there are no other items to come before us this evening, and a motion to adjourn is in order.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilmember Schultz makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Workman. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. We stand
Madam Mayor,
adjourned.
before you close, I just want to say one thing. This is my last Zoom meeting. I'm coming back to council. Going forward.
Yay.
You got
Yeah,
your shot.
My
got your
family has
shot.
had their vaccines, including my mother, which
Johnson and
is great.
Johnson, so he's one and
So
done.
we get to argue in person here in a couple of weeks.
Bring Yoda with you.
Yeah,
I'll bring-
and you
I'm
got
gonna
one
bring a
and
mask
done.
plus Yoda
And
with
you've
me.
got your 2 weeks in after your
It'll be on Monday will be my 2 weeks, so I'm good.
so you're good. Okay, and we welcome you back to the chamber.
Thank you.
With
Okay.
Baby Yoda
Yeah.
at your side,
I'll take the mask off, baby.
Yeah.
Yoda.
We stand adjourned.
or candy bars, whatever.
And good night,
You really want
and thank you for being with us.
Yeah, or candy bars. That's